This is my house from the street. Here is my car. This is a 2-bedroom brick ranch, conveniently located. My car is an '07 Altima. I paid $79,000 for this in 1996. That's considered a lot, believe it or not. Okay, we're approaching the door. Open it up. Oh, someone left it unlocked. That's not good. It is easy for me to hide from my emotions for one more day. Take a long drive in the car, listen to some music, daydream, or just do some mundane task around the house that really doesn't need to be done, that's not too important. And there you go, one more day, and one more day turns into one more year. Now, RDS says that I have approximately maybe 15 more years to be successful at this. And when I heard that, I wanted to continue immediately to start moving on this. I didn't realize I had that much time.
This man, George Sodini, was essentially the killer next door. What is that like for you?
Really devastating. Just knowing that that he was doing the things that he did, and the journal he was keeping, and just that he was, going out for young girls, and knowing what he said on July 23rd about my daughter. It's just so devastating to know that somebody like that lives right across the street from you.
Yeah, we should
tell.
We should tell the viewers what you're talking about when you say that he wrote about your daughter in his journal. In one of the entries, he mentions your fiance by name. He writes, "I just looked out my front window and saw a beautiful college-age girl leave Bob Fox's house across the street. She was long-haired, hot little hottie with a beautiful bod." I won't continue because it is just disgusting. To hear that, tell me your reaction.
It's so overwhelming. Just the idea of somebody like that, thinking like that. For a young girl, I mean, my daughter is a college student, and just to think that if I would lose somebody like that, I don't know what I would do. It's just so devastating.
What was he like? Was there any indication that he was a disturbed individual?
No, he seemed pretty focused on life. He seemed happy. I felt like he was just a loner who liked to keep to himself. He would say hi on occasion, and just never thought that somebody like that would be so capable of what he's done.
Man, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do today more than anything else. We're going to do this. Nice guy must die. I would say that's the problem with most of the guys in the room, that you're too nice. Women don't like that. They don't respect it. It's about as arousing as a booger. The second problem we're going to talk about is being scared. It's normal to be scared when you have been hurt by women in the past. The first woman that hurt you is your mother. And that lasts a lifetime. There's nothing we can do about this. She did the best she could with what she had, where she was, and what she knew, and what she understood. Some women are crazy, and they deliberately hurt their children. But most of us don't have mothers like that. Some of us do. But most of us who do know that mother was crazy. It really wasn't my fault. That doesn't make the pain any less. That doesn't make you less afraid of women, but it makes it understandable. The rest of us who know our mother wasn't crazy spend a long time trying to figure out, why did she do that?
I guess some of us were simply meant to walk a lonely path. I have slept alone over 20 years. Last time I slept all night with a girlfriend, it was 1982. Proof I am a total malfunction. Girls and women don't even give me a second look anywhere. There is something blandly wrong with me that no goddamn person will tell me what it is," he wrote on his blogs. So this is a direct quote of George Sodini. Who is George Sodini? Well, 15 years ago, he committed a mass shooting at a health club, LA Fitness to be specific. And the interesting thing is that he didn't care about human life because he felt that his life was over, so other people's lives, specifically women, should be over as well. The thing is that, according to me, he suffered from something what is called, or what I would call, mental rejection. So a permanent state of mental rejection, meaning that even if it feels like you still might or might not have a chance with people, with women, if it comes to relationships, you feel, you think inside, internally, you experience the negative only, meaning that rejection always happens instantly before you even do anything. And that is a driving force to madness, insanity, desperation because of deprivation. The sad thing is a lot of men that go through it, instead of seeking help because they don't know how to deal with those thoughts and emotions properly in a mature way, they will vent out to go and unleash their aggression by violence, through the means of violence. George Sodini is one of these examples. He was basically double the age of Elliot Rodger. Elliot Rodger, he committed this heinous act as well. The sad thing about it is that he was half his age, meaning that he still had a full life ahead of him. George Sodini just gave up too quickly on himself, although he thought that within the time span of 15 years he would still be able to achieve what he wanted to achieve. I see these patterns mainly coming with people that have issues with their social skills, communicative skills, and have internal problems. They do go through things as a scientist analyzes emotions within themselves, but they don't understand those emotions, they don't know how to deal with it properly. Whenever women do reject them, it's mainly because they sense something is off about them. Their mannerisms, the way they present themselves, the way they interact with others. And that also can indicate for sure that George Sodini was or might have been on the spectrum. Are those things bad in general? No. We're all human beings, we're all flawed, we all have things we need to be working on. But the sad part is that sometimes we think we're on our own, we're all alone. When we need help, we don't look for it. Because sometimes our ego gets in the way or our brain tells us otherwise, that we can deal with it accordingly to our own ways and wills and wishes. But not ever in any type of way of scenario should anybody fall victim to our own shortcomings. It's a very selfish act to take other people to the grave if you feel you want to step into it completely. People don't have anything to do with you. People are just doing their thing, minding their own business and living their lives. And blaming them because you can't cope, because you can't figure it out, is no excuse to strip them away of their lives. If you value your life, why take the others? Why take other people's lives? Why try to punish people for whatever has been done wrong to you in the past or the present? It doesn't do anything. It doesn't solve anything. That's the point. People do it as a cry out of desperation because otherwise the world wouldn't pay any attention. And that's what's basically what happened to George Sodini. This final act of desperation was just a cry to the world for attention. Attention he never got. Never in the entirety of his life. Sodini even wrote down that he previously planned this shooting, but he just couldn't go through with it. So he had to find the courage to try it all over again. But it was pre-planned, premeditated. There was the ill intent to commit this heinous act. So it wasn't madness, insanity, of any type of mental sickness. He complains about feeling neglected and bullied by his mother and older brother, a classic grievance for high-profile murderers, said Garrett. Sodini refers to his mother as a central boss and calls her vindictive and very dominant. He describes his brother Michael Sodini as a big bully, twice the size of most others. One other thing is very crucial, that a lot of guys, a lot of men that go through this type of experience where they feel like the world is against them, nobody cares about them, nobody loves them, everybody rejects them for who they are. And it always starts very basic with the relationship between mother and son. Same can be said in different types of scenarios with father and daughter, but here specifically it's the mother that had some type of complex relationship with the son, although the son felt already from the beginning on that he was neglected, unwanted, unloved by his first female encounter, being his mom. And that just continued throughout his life, and a never-ending negative cycle that it seemed that he couldn't get out of. You know, it's projecting basically. You had a very negative experience with your own close, near and dear family. So that first experience with that first female in your life being your mother, it must be the same for all other women in life, in everyday life you encounter. None of them will be able to love you. None of them will be able to take care of you. None of them will be able to accept you for who you are. So that frustration builds, that resentment builds, that hatred and bitterness builds. There is no option for a healthy outlet, then it bottles up. And that is where all these crazy acts might come out of. That is the origin, that is the fire starter. Now, there are a lot of things men can do to help themselves, but Sodini didn't understand that physical workouts by itself is not enough to be able to defeat that demon. There is the mental issue, there are the emotional issues, there are the spiritual issues, and everything combined has to be tackled head on. By stalling or burying everything else and just focusing on a physical workout to get some tension relief will not solve any internal problems. And it's sad to say that once again, other people have to suffer the consequences because you felt you were done wrong. You felt that there was injustice done against you and you had to rectify it. Rectify it by doing an act that can never be undone and creates more damage and more suffering and more pain in the world, like there is not enough of it already. It's a selfish act to take the life of others if you feel like you want to take your own. And people shouldn't suffer because you're suffering, just to make a point clear. The world does a lot of people wrong, but people do get the opportunity to better improve themselves and to give back. The willingness is a different thing because ego will get in the way, mental health will get in the way, and your closed environment will also determine the outcome. Now, loneliness is a problem even upon this day. Whether it was 15 years ago with Sodini or whether it's now with other people that are watching. But that doesn't mean that should be a valid excuse to lash out in a violent way because you felt like you were done wrong. This is a very primal need for recognition by force. But at the same time, if you look back at his history, he was basically a ghost, a nobody. He could have been somebody if he would have just taken the time to really work on himself. So if you want to hear more testimonies, more opinions from 15 years ago after the event, after the aftermath of the shooting, continue watching because I will present them one by one, and let me know at the end of this video what your thoughts are on the entirety of the case.
Hello everyone and welcome to the weird, scary and horrible parts of humanity. Today we are looking into the horrible case of an incel killer who took his vengeance out against innocent women, George Sodini. An incel or involuntary celibate is a person who is not in sexual activity but desires to be, and is primarily part of an online subculture of misogynistic straight men who define themselves as wanting a sexual relationship but are unable to find one. George Sodini was born on the 30th of September 1960 in Scott Township and was a misogynist with incel-style characteristics. Attending the University of Pittsburgh and living in Scott Township, Allegheny County, Pennsylvania, which as of 2010 has a population of 17,024 individuals. Career-wise, Sodini was quite successful, working for the international law firm K&L Gates as a systems analyst. However, socially he was an outcast and perceived rejection from the entirety of society, particularly women. In early 1991, he had a child with a woman named Lee Ann Valseri and had not seen his child since they were 4 months old. This was the last partner with whom he had sex. On a website registered in his name, he lamented that he had not had sex in 20 years since July 1990, lamenting, "Who knows why? I am not ugly or too weird. No sex since July either. I was 29. Last time I slept all night with a girlfriend, it was 1982. Girls and women don't even give me a second look anywhere." The 48-year-old also lamented, "Women just don't like me. There are 30 million desirable women in the US, my estimate, and I cannot find one." He also began attending self-help seminars as seen in this video, where he is the bald individual with no jacket on next to the door. These seminars discussed how to date women and were coached by R. Don Steele. These seminars were 8 hours long and took place across 3 days. He was described as the most studious of all students at the seminars and was not seen as a malicious person. Sodini also began posting a series of videos on YouTube outlining his problems, lamenting his inability to find women, as well as providing a tour of his house. He purchased an empty Glock 9mm magazine and magazine loading apparatus from TG Scom Inc. with the aim of committing an attack on women and the society which he perceived had rejected him. Sodini also planned a shooting in early 2009, but by his own online confession chickened out. On the 28th of July 2009, he bought an inert grenade on a Port Authority bus, the second largest public transit agency in Pennsylvania and the 26th largest in the United States of America. A passenger sitting next to him was significantly concerned and alerted the police, who spoke with Sodini but ultimately released him, which would turn out to be a fatal mistake. On the 4th of August 2009 at 8:15 p.m, Sodini went to the LA Fitness Health Club, an American gym chain with more than 700 clubs across the United States of America and Canada, in Collier Township, a suburb in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In his duffel bag, Sodini carried 2 9/19mm Glock semi-automatic pistols and a .45 caliber revolver, with a .32 caliber semi-automatic pistol in his pocket. He had done practice runs in the gym, including entering a woman's acrobatic classroom, and had been shown by unsuspecting staff how to turn the lights on and off. Entering a woman's acrobatic class at the fitness center, Sodini placed his duffel bag on the ground, turned off the lights, and took out his 2 9/19mm Glock semi-automatic pistols. Firing 52 shots from both of his Glock semi-automatic pistols, Sodini killed 3 women: Heidi Overmeyer, 46 years old, a native of Collier Township; Elizabeth Gannon, aged 49, of Green Tree; and Jody Billingsley, 38 years old, of Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Sodini then took out his .45 caliber revolver and committed suicide by shooting himself in the head. The .32 caliber semi-automatic pistol found in his pocket was not used. Police found 2 suicide notes in Sodini's duffel bag, but they were never released. Sodini donated his estate worth $225,000 to his alma mater, the University of Pittsburgh, who rejected it, with the money spread amongst the families of his victims. 2 days after the shooting on the 6th of August 2009, approximately 75 people held a vigil at the Pittsburgh City County building in downtown Pittsburgh in honor of the victims of the shooting.
Jaw-dropping developments tonight in the horrific Pittsburgh gym massacre that left 3 women dead. 48-year-old George Sodini, who we now know hated women and was obsessed with them, walked into an aerobics class packed with women, switched off the lights, and shot off 40 rounds before turning the gun on himself. When those lights went back on, 3 women were dead, 9 injured. Today, a shocking discovery. The shooter posted videos of himself a year ago on YouTube. Watch and listen to his chilling words.
It is easy for me to hide from my emotions for one more day. Take a long drive in the car, listen to some music, daydream, or just do some mundane task around the house that really doesn't need to be done, that's not too important. And there you go, one more day. And one more day turns into one more year.
Oh boy. Sodini also kept an online diary in which he detailed his upcoming murder spree and complained about women rejecting him. Sodini also wrote about women in a note he left in the gym bag he used to carry the guns into the health club.
He basically says that he complains about he's never spent a weekend with a girl. He's never vacationed with a girl. He never lived with the women. He's maybe had sex a few times in his life, and he goes on like this.
Wow.
Okay, so I have a slight problem with points made in your video. First of all, it strikes me, and I watched it a few times just to make sure I got the gist of it. Strikes me as though you think for some reason this killing was in some way religious motivated, had some kind of religious motivation. Or at least that's the way I'm seeing it. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But religion didn't play any part in why he went in to kill those people. I've been watching the news. I'm very well aware of the story. I've read about it online, and basically, this guy was shunned by a lot of women, couldn't have a good relationship. The last time he was in any kind of meaningful relationship, according to the news anyway, and what I'm reading online, was back in the early 1980s. I don't think it was much religion as it was a case of insecurity and massive blue balls. I think he would have done it if he were an atheist or some other religion. It wasn't the religion. It was insecurity and possible mental disorder, not caused by religion. I believe religion came on because of the mental disorder. I've always noticed that people who are otherwise, rational, believing people, once they become mentally disabled, somehow cling to religion. I don't know why this is, but it's a fact. With the guy who was a YouTube poster, posted videos about his problems with women and why he wants to get with women. And that was basically his frustration over that, was what led him to do what he did, not religion. Kind of along the same lines as the black guy that went into the school with the pump-action shotgun and killed that one chick. I really don't think religion played a part there either. I think it was just unrequited love. That's how I feel. That's my opinion on the matter. but yeah, people are quick to judge religion, to call somebody do what they do religiously motivated if they say anything religious prior to their actions. Um, and that's just unfair, if in my opinion, but I could be wrong. But that is my disagreement, my humble disagreement with you, Edge. Um, I really don't think it was religiously motivated. Because if it were religiously motivated, um, I think, and he did check his Bible, he would have known that murder and suicide are a sin, and he's going straight to hell if you believe that. He also said, and I quote, in one of his blog entries or one of his YouTube videos or something like this, I wouldn't do this deed if a certain woman there would sleep with me. You know? And it's like, okay, so basically, if some woman there gives you premarital sex, which ain't exactly Christian, um, you won't do the deed. Um, if the guy is a Christian, he's a jack Christian. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't think that what he did was religious motivation. I think he would have done it if he were an atheist or any other religion, because I think he was slightly mentally ill to have done something like that. I mean, think about it. No sane human being would do what he did. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my opinion, and it's just an opinion, and, you can take it for what it is.
Mr. George Sodini has disappointed his family, his friends, and the whole country in his brutal slaying of these 3 women in Pittsburgh, in the LA Fitness Club. In my view, I think that there are several things that seem to be a problem here. He likes to journalize about his problems instead of focusing on what is working, the beautiful sunset, the rainbow, the lovely rose. And as a citizen of the world, we're pushing people beyond their level of competence. Everybody wants to be a doctor. They want to earn the 7-figure salary. And basically, their level is just to be in the factory, work in the fields, picking the corn and the cabbage and tomatoes. And this is an added pressure on them. We have the psychiatrists and the psychologists who convince us that they know how to turn things around. They can shrink brains to such an extent that people will walk straight and become normal and real serious and contributing citizens. And we've seen that they're just failing. They just discovered that temptation is beyond, it really trips us up. And the scripture is clear in it. Furthermore, they're thinking that they could watch the city. But God says, except he watch the city, these watchmen will be in vain. Because look what's happening on their watch. And finally, we discovered that, medical science had discovered that individuals who had faith and who read the Bible and prayed were able to recover from many medical procedures very quickly. Then quickly, immediately following that, the enemy came up saying that people who had animals had a similar experience. And so it fit in because so many people had been influenced by Scooby-Doo and Sesame Street and these other puppet shows that it really kicked in, and everybody now has an animal. And all it's doing is putting us on the animal level. It's not making us into better citizens. So I think that we need to look, as we move on here, to acquire and to encourage things that are really working. I think that this brother, if he had a true religion, he could have been saved from this peril that he ended up in. I trust that nobody else has to go through us.
Hey guys, I watched this video, and this man was a coward. This man didn't deserve to live in the first place if he was going to pull something like this off. Not only that though, he was a chicken. He was a pussy. And watching this and reading all the stuff that he posted, on the internet, the day after I heard about this incident. My thoughts go nowhere else but to the victims and the families of the victims of this ridiculous tragedy. That's my personal opinion. I think this guy was a coward. The fact that he turned out the lights, shot out the mirrors, shows that he didn't want to face himself during this incident. And he was a coward. And as far as my opinion, it was obviously a very senseless act. And wherever he is now, I hope he realizes what he's done.
I'm not sure if I'm going to put this show up or not, because I don't want to seem like I'm trying to take advantage of a situation. I'll read to you some of the facts of this situation. There's a man named George Sodini, and he actually entered a Pennsylvania health club Tuesday night and murdered 3 women in cold blood. He shot a whole bunch of people, basically. Then he turned the gun on himself. And I have some things that I would like to say about that. And looking over his blog and looking at some of the video where they posted some of his quotes. He was 48 years of age. And before I begin this, my heart does go out to the families of those who were injured and who were also slain. Man, fuck. This is some fucking bullshit. But anyway, this guy, 48 years of age, 48 years of age, 155 pounds. He's a computer programmer, so he's got that left brain mentality that's dominant within this community. A lot of guys are nerds. But he was also, I saw his photograph, he was a nice looking man. This guy could have gotten women. But here are some of his quotes. Because he apparently spent his entire life being alone in search of a girlfriend. And he writes, "Who knows why I am not ugly or too weird." And he also writes on his blog, "Flying solo for many years is a destroyer." There was an Asian kid many years ago at the Virginia Tech, I believe it was, who did something very similar. And if he could have talked to somebody before he did all this shit. This guy also writes, "My anger and rage is largely gone since I began lifting weights." So he was doing a positive thing. Like I tell you guys, get to the gym. Get to the gym out there, because the gym, helps relieve a lot of stress. And it also increases your testosterone. It relieves a lot of the issues that you got going on in your head. It releases endorphins. This guy also wrote, "It is difficult to live almost continuously feeling an undercurrent of fear, worry, discontentment, and helplessness." If any of you guys feel this way, please contact me. Just send me a message over YouTube, or send me a message at my site, zenmac.com. Just contact me. I am really not sure if I am going to upload this, because I know there's going to be a lot of internet marketers taking advantage of this. I tried to Google some information. They already jumped on the shit. But the guy also wrote, "The biggest problem of all is not having relationships or friends, but not being able to achieve and acquire what I desire in those or many other areas. If I had control over my life, I would be much happier." This guy is ended up being a total fucking loser. instead of working on himself or reaching out for help. Because nowadays there are dating consultants out there. There are a lot of, even if he did the PUA game, he at least got something. Even with the pickup artist stuff. But he couldn't take any more rejection, I guess. And he just retreated within himself. If any of you guys feel that way, this is not the answer. This is a loser's answer. This is a coward's answer. It's an insult to every man who's sought to better himself since the beginning of time of men. And we as men, we've grown better each generation. We're a little better than the generation before. And this motherfucker gave the fuck up and decided to hurt other people in the process? If you guys ever feel like that, just send me an email. Please. This is not the path. This path is final. There is no coming back from it. There is no improving from this. There is no getting better. Or this guy, if he had talked to me, I would have taught the guy how to fucking meet some fucking women. Jesus fucking Christ. I taught fucking aerobics. Motherfucker. Fucking asshole. I taught aerobics for over 20 fucking years. And a motherfucker go into aerobics class and shoot a bunch of helpless fucking women? Just because he couldn't fucking get over his shit? You know what? Fuck that shit. One thing this puke did was he shot a fucking pregnant woman. The teacher, she was pregnant. How in the fuck do you shoot a pregnant woman? How low do you gotta fucking sink? I'm like, what the fuck? She was pregnant! Okay, I've stopped my truck, taken off my seatbelt, I pulled off to the side of the road. I'm a little bit calmer now. Now, one thing that disturbs me about this situation is I used to be like that guy when I was in high school. I was alone. I didn't have a girlfriend. Excuse me. I was super shy. I got that whole, because I lived in Japan, that whole Japanese programming of guys supposed to be shy and bashful and grab the back of your head and around women and then kick the cans on there or shuffle the ground and stuff. That was me. I know what it likes to be like that. That's why I got so upset. Because I crawled out of that darkness. My self-esteem was that much. And it was all just because I was super introverted and super shy. I didn't know how to take care of the problem of meeting girls. That's why I bought the first book on the market, How to Pick Up Girls by Eric Weber. And I also bought what was called back then, it's called a phonograph. You guys are too young for that, but a phonograph is a record that's like a big gigantic CD that you put on the device and has a needle that and the thing turns around and it plays sound out of it. So I even bought his phonograph back then. This is in my high school year. And I recall setting off for this stuff and waiting like almost 6 fucking months. It seemed like 6 months of hell for the first book to come. And the book came and all it said was, just go up and talk to girls. You know, I'm thinking I saved up my allowance, my money, and that's all they're going to tell me? So I went and asked my dad, Dad, how do you meet girls? And he said, just go up and talk to them. Do you know it took me many, many years after that to finally let that shit finally sink in that really was the truth? That meeting girls is really just about communication. You know, how you talk to girls and being able to talk to them, not be nervous and fucked up in your head. And I know this Sodini motherfucker was all jacked up in his brains. He couldn't talk to girls. He probably came out like a total goob, like a total fucking dweezil. And for such a nice-looking guy, because as I said, I saw the motherfucker's photograph. He looked like a nice-looking guy. I don't crush on dudes, but he looked like a type of dude that white chicks would like. Slim. He had the graying hair. Italian Sicilian guys or Southern Italian guys, they tend to be like kind of like Greco-Roman statue type people. They look like those statues. He looked like that. So I'm thinking, fuck, man. This shit has got to end with these motherfuckers going crazy.
Yesterday, a man named George Sodini went into a women's aerobic class, turned off the lights, and began spraying the room with bullets. He killed 3 women and injured 9 more before turning the gun on himself. Like everyone else in the world, this fucker kept a blog. In it, he whined about how women, for some reason, refused to date him. And one quote basically said that because he was fairly good looking, clean shaven, wore cologne, and yet 30 million women, this is what he said, 30 million women had rejected him over a period of 18 to 25 years. The reason he came up with this number because he said that was his rough guesstimate of how many attractive single women there were in, I suppose, the world. Okay, let's look at this for a minute. Let's try to follow this asshole's logic. Let's see here. I'm not available. I'm married. I'm not single. But if I were, how big would my dating pool be in the entire country? Let's see here. I'm bisexual. That might skew it a little higher. Let's see. According to the Census Bureau, there are about 5,372,000 single men in the country right now. Let's say about 10% of those are gay, so roughly 5 million straight or bisexual men. For women, I'm going to just make a wild guess and say there's about 1 million gay or bisexual women who are not dating anyone at the moment. Now, that means about 6 million people. So should I be upset because 6 million strangers would not theoretically date me if I were single? No, because 6 million strangers do not owe me anything. Nothing. Just because someone exists, our population exists, does not mean that they should be dating you. And another thing is the guy had an extreme version of what I call nice guy syndrome, which is, I've run into this many times before, which is a person who thinks that, well, I'm a nice guy, I'm not an alpha, I'm not an asshole, I don't cheat on women. Why won't it, it's like, why won't she date me? Well, usually people who think, they think that because they know me and I'm a girl and they like me and they're not actively an idiot, I owe them something. I should be going out with them. Most of these people do not actually have the balls to ask you for a date. They just think they deserve one. I kind of hesitate to tell this story because this was many years ago and the person who did this has now since grown up. But about early 90s, 92, a friend of mine, he kind of fit this description, decided to write the beginning of a detective novel. He wrote the beginning of this novel to make me the corpse, because I would not go out with him. This is the absolute truth. I did not make this up. He made a fictionalized version of me, cut her up with a Ginsu knife, and stuffed the fake me in garbage bags. And let me tell you something. It's a good thing I'm a sick-ass bastard, because I thought that was hilarious. I did not even get upset. For one thing, the characterization was fucking awful. So, this is the extreme version of this mentality leads to a guy shooting up an entire room full of women because they're not giving him any attention. You're not owed any attention. You have to make attention some other way besides shooting people. And by the way, if anyone is watching this video and thinking, well, the guy didn't have sex since 1990, he was just frustrated, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Women have never gone, as far as I know, a woman has never gone on a shooting spree because she couldn't get laid. She probably just bought some makeup or a vibrator. So, George, you dead, dumbass motherfucker. I cannot be sorry that you're dead, but I sure am sorry you took 3 other people with you.
King of all YouTube karaoke singers. Alright, I've been broken up all this fucking week about this tragedy where this fucking dumbass motherfucker George Sodini killed these fucking beautiful women in his health club in Pennsylvania. I guess it was a LA fitness club. This guy's gotta be the dumbest motherfucker ever to fucking walk the face of the planet Earth, and thank God he's no longer on a fucking planet Earth. This is a fucking tragedy that was totally preventable. There ain't nothing we can do about it. We cannot turn back the hands of time. We cannot bring these fucking lovely women back. And God knows the world needs more fucking women who fucking work out and take care of themselves. Fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot. And And you know what we should do? If we could do anything to get a little bit of justice, is get that motherfucker R. Don Steele, who was trying to fucking mentor this fucking piece of shit, get him and throw his ass in fucking jail. Alright? Or at least sue him for fucking malpractice. I mean, you can't get fucking laid? Okay, since 1990 or whatever it was, this motherfucker couldn't get laid? There cannot be a repeat of this fucking tragedy, because this was an absolute unnecessary waste of human life. So, what can we do? What lessons have we learned from this? As men of leadership, like myself, need to teach you basement dwellers out there how to get some pussy. All right, I know a lot of you out there smacking your little chubby to some fucking porno website because you can't get laid and you're all fucking bitter and angry and you know you got a lot of hormones running through your body, young and shit. I'm gonna give you my fail-proof fucking tip. This is like better than a hottest stock tip you could get on Wall Street on how to get pussy every time, anytime you fucking want, for little or no money. Now you don't have to go to no whorehouse. You do not have to go to no massage parlor. Okay, you do not have to go get some woman off the street, some streetwalker. You don't have to waste your time in some fucking bar. Okay, you don't have to do none of that shit. I'm gonna tell you how to get laid. I'm gonna hook you up, my basement dwelling brethren, right now. There's only one place you need to go to get pussy. Walmart. Now fucking hear me out on this, okay? Hear me out, because I'm gonna give you fucking I'm gonna lay the whole scam out for you. You think about it for a minute, okay? Walmart is a great place to hook up with broads. The greatest place on the fucking planet Earth. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because number one, the women that work there, they only make like fucking $8 or $9 an hour. So there's some eager beavers, all right? They're looking to hook up, even if it's just to pay the rent, all right? They're looking to hook up. So that's on the strength. That's one. Now here's the double bonus on this issue. The women that shop there, they ain't got a lot of money either. That's why they're shopping at Walmart, getting them bargain basement deals, all right? So there you go. It's like shooting fish at a barrel. I swear to God, I can't go to Walmart and not get hit on by broads. Every fucking time I go there, I get hit on. It's good for the ego. Even when I just want to boost my ego, I go to Walmart. Now, I don't need to get laid, because I'm a great fucking karaoke singer. The greatest of all time. I just gotta get up on a stage and sing a little fucking song, and as soon as I come off, these fucking girls think I'm a fucking rock star. So, I don't need to do that. But there was a time where I didn't have a lot of money. I pulled the scam religiously. And let me tell you how to make it work, okay? Because you gotta execute successfully, and it's really easy. Just get you a shopping cart, go through the Walmart, get you some TV dinners, because all of us men, you know, we could use some TV dinners for the freezer, right? So let's face it. And put a couple high dollar items in there, like a Blu-ray DVD player or something like that, you know? Maybe some romantic CDs or something. I don't know what else. What do you even put in there? It's like some fucking, like a printer or something, you know what I mean? Something. That way, these women, and some cleaning supplies. Cleaning supplies are very important. That way these women, they see you as being single, you're shopping. Now these high ticket items, after you get the digits and you pick the cashier with the best looking cashier with the longest line, and you start making eyes at her and you smile and you be nice and patient, and she'll be like, oh, I'm sorry I had to wait so long. No problem, sweetheart. And you just start a little chit chat with her when you're in the line, and you work it when you get up there. Once you get the digits, okay, you're in like Flint. The very next day, you bring the high dollar items back. This way you ain't wasting your money, see? And now you can pull this scam once you get experienced at it, at fucking Target. You can even work your way up to Mervyn's or fucking Woolworths. I don't know where you want to go. But and some of you guys that are maybe a little bit chubbier, maybe a little bit uglier, maybe you want to start at the dollar store, okay, and work your way up to the Walmart. You know, guys like me, you know, we can do this shit at fucking like Sears and Macy's. You know what I mean? This scam will work everywhere, okay? Retail, that's where you get the fucking women. There's all kinds of women in retail jobs not making a lot of money. And like I said, man, fill your basket up with a couple fucking high ticket items and take them right back the very next day, okay? So that's on the strength from me to you, my brothers. Everybody can get laid now, right? I don't want to see no more beautiful women getting killed. I don't want to fucking, I don't know. I'd probably save the world right now. Maybe even a few lives will be created in the process. So it's what I do, man. It's how I fucking roll. You know me, I fucking roll the wrong way. But it always gets me where I'm going. So until next time, this here's the Karaoke Man, well known as the king of all YouTube karaoke singers. Peace out, my basement dwelling brethren.
Okay, let's go down the cellar. I fixed it up. It was unfinished when I bought the house. I put up all the paneling and the suspended ceiling. The shelves, I put all this up. It took a while to do it. It was worth it. And there you go, one more day. And one more day turns into one more year. Now, RDS says that I have approximately maybe 15 more years to be successful at this. And when I heard that, I wanted to continue immediately to start moving on this. I didn't realize I had that much time. So my objective is to be real and to learn to be emotional and to, you know, to be able to emotionally connect with people. Because when I'm 10 to 20 years older than she is, you know, she has to feel good about this thing. And the only way around that, you know, is to work on this, and perhaps STEM exercises or forgiveness exercises as per Hay or whatever else.
Oh my gosh, man. I just heard this story, man, today about this guy named George. He just snapped and like killed everybody, man. This doesn't make any sense. Oh my gosh.
4 handguns he had on this person when the shooting went down. As far as we can determine at this point, he used 2 of the handguns. Excuse me, 3 of the handguns. He used 2 9mm semi-automatics, and he used a .45 caliber revolver. We believe it was the .45 caliber revolver which he used to take his own life. He has been positively identified as George Sodini. His picture is up on the wall to my right. From every indication that we've had from the investigation thus far, it indicates to us that, it shows us that Mr. Sodini had this intent to do this harm to these individuals. He had no relationship with anybody in that club that we know of. He went in the club and just opened up firing, and ultimately shot 12 people.
So guys, after hearing that, you see what I'm saying? People need hugs, man. For example, this guy right here. If he only got extra hugs, if people just realized like this man just needs hugs and just walked up and gave him a hug, that probably would have saved their life, man. So this is what I want you guys to do. If you know anybody that's going through anything, or if you just notice somebody that's just like looking like he's just having some problems, just walk over and give them a hug. It doesn't cost you anything. You just walk up and just hug. You know what I mean? Just hug. So do me a big favor and hug somebody. Because a hug can save a life.
Hey, boo. Hey. Hug?
I don't know.